These two little pieces of paper have completely changed the direction of the build over the next couple of episodes. Because according to them, the issue is not the diff gears and it is not the engine. So last episode didn't make any sense to me at all. I fitted 3.9 diff gears in a true track and I expected to cruise straight into the 13s down at the drag strip, but the car basically ran the exact same time. Then quite literally hundreds of you jumped into my comments, and after reading through every single one of them, I think I've been trying to fix the wrong problem. Gavin Taylor said run a tighter converter and sort out the trans shift points. Killer said get a HP tuners tool. You need to fix up your trans shift tables with the new diff gears. Joyce said I need to recalibrate the gearbox to suit the new diff gears. So from today, there is a brand new goal for this $20,000 budget drag racing build. Can we run a 13 without adding a single horsepower? I honestly expected the comments to say exactly what I was thinking, that the miss that I'd identified on the night out was probably killing just enough power that it was taking away from the difference the diff gears made. But that's not what happened at all. The more I kept reading, the more I saw that there was two real standout themes. The way people were typing in the comments, it looked like there was a lot of different opinions. Essentially, people were either saying that the car wasn't making enough power to make use of the diff gears, or the calibration of the gearbox is completely all over the place now because it doesn't recognize the diff gears that are in it currently. And at first, reading through all the comments, it did feel like everyone had a different opinion, but as I worked through them, I realized no one was arguing. Everyone was describing different symptoms of the same problem. I stopped reading them as opinions, I started collating them and putting them into boxes as clues, and that's when everything changed. So instead of just jumping straight into buying more parts, I thought I'd treat this like any other problem. Let's look at what we actually know, do a little bit more investigation, and figure out what is going on based on what we've actually seen. So watch this. Instead of loading the converter, the car just wants to push straight through the brakes, and it was something that I noticed on the night whilst we were racing. That's not normal, and that's probably the first big clue. The second clue, and it's another one I really picked up on while I was editing the video, but people mentioning it highlighted it a lot more, was the gear changes. And listen to this. Every gear change sounds lazy. As it would click into the next gear, it was almost like it was dropping out of its sweet spot and bogging down a little bit before running through that gear. Like I said, that's something that really became clear to me whilst I was editing. It didn't sound right at all. I think you get lost in the moment with the adrenaline, and that's how I missed it on the night. And heaps of you picked up on that issue. So that's clue number 2. I guess the final piece of the puzzle was having the time slips. Without a doubt, the car definitely feels better on the road. It feels snappier, it feels quicker. In the burnout, it was gripping up beautifully and felt like it was a bit more lively. But none of that translated into a quicker time down the strip. So now we know that we have changed the diff gears, we need to figure out what's cancelling out that advantage. I'll be honest, after the last episode, I left the drags genuinely frustrated. I spent a lot of time and money getting that set up. To take it back to the drags expecting a better time and running exactly the same, that was really frustrating. And at first I thought I'd wasted my time and money. Now, I actually think it's really good that it happened, and I feel like I have a lot more knowledge about how the car works before we go further in. The comments had two trains of thought here. One is that the car's not making enough power to make use of the diff gears, and the other one is that now that the diff gears have changed, the gearbox is so far out of calibration that shift points are wrong, converter behavior has changed for the worse, and there's a possibility that we're getting some torque limiting, or the car is trying to turn the power down because things aren't right in its brain currently. And for me, I think there's an element of truth to both of these. And honestly, this is when something finally clicked for me. In my head, in the last episode, I thought changing the diff gears would just change final drive ratio. I thought changing the diff gears would only affect the diff. In my Land Cruiser, if you were to change diff gears, it didn't really do much to the way the car drove overall. But for the Commodore, that's not true. Changing the diff ratios is affecting the ECU and the TCU or PCM, which means that we're affecting the converter, we're affecting the gearbox, we're affecting the calibration, and even things like the tires now. And the thing that makes sense to me now is all of those things need to work together to get the best out of it and make that new modification work. I also think that there is a good point to the not enough power to be making good use of it. If that's true, I still think I have a way that we can sort of bypass that to squeeze that little bit of extra power out in efficiencies and get that 13-second quarter mile. So essentially, I don't think I have a diff gear problem anymore. And I don't think missing is the problem either. I think I have a drivetrain problem and a calibration problem. So before we go any further, I think the most important thing I need to do is to say thank you to everyone who commented. I genuinely sat down and read every single one that you guys sent me. Honestly, that's the reason that this episode exists, and it's probably the reason we're going to fix this way faster than if I tried to figure it out on my own. This build is actually turning into something that I didn't really expect to see. You know, initially it was just going to be, I was going to build my SS and try and hit these main goals and do it. But it's almost feeling like a group project now with this massive R&D team in the background who are helping me diagnose and speaking from their own experience when they've already done similar modifications and made the same mistakes that I probably would have made if I chased down the paths I thought were the issue. So instead of pretending I have all the answers when I quite obviously don't, I really like how this series is working, where when I have a problem, I've got a whole bunch of you helping me solve them, and we're almost building this car together and getting it to that end goal. One of the main reasons I started this build was because I want to learn something too, so if other people can learn from this when they want to come through and do the same thing or similar things to their car, that information is all going to be there. Which I think is way more interesting than just bolting a bunch of parts onto a car and then taking off. I think just pouring in more power and adding bolt-ons to get more kilowatts isn't really going to solve this issue. Let's imagine that this bucket here is our horsepower. I've got two choices. I can keep pouring more horsepower into it, or I can fix the holes first. The path I was going down was going to be trying to pour more water in without fixing the leaks. So with that theory, it's exactly what I'm going to try and do, is patch up the holes, stop the leaks, and get maximum efficiencies through the driveline before we add that extra power in. Now, this is only a theory at this stage, and I think the next few episodes are going to either prove us right or prove that we are completely wrong. I think the stock converter is no longer suited to our setup already. And I also think the gearbox is trying to shift as if it has the factory ratios still in it. And I think that's why every gear change feels lazy. And I suppose my stubbornness is still hanging in there, because as you know, everyone else builds LS1s the exact same way. Exhaust, tune, OTR, cam. Then they go straight to the drag strip, they have issues with traction, and they start finding all the weak links. I still want to try something different. I really want to try and get all the efficiencies out of the car before we start adding power, and I desperately want to hit that 13 without any extra horsepower. And I really do think if we get that right, every power modification we add from there, we're really going to get the most out of it because everything else behind it is ready to go. And I'm not saying this is the best way to do it. It's just a really interesting experiment, and it's something I've really wanted to try. So we'll have one more crack at trying to get that little bit faster and seeing how fast we can get without any extra horsepower. So I suppose our $20,000 budget goal now has a side quest or a smaller challenge that I would like to try and break through first. Can we run a 13-second quarter mile without adding any horsepower to our stock VYSS LS1 Commodore? And I think if we can smash that, once we start adding the mods, this thing is really going to come alive fast. So I don't actually know if this theory is right yet, but I do know one thing. The next modification isn't about making more power. It's about making use of the power we've already got and chasing efficiencies. And unfortunately, that didn't go to plan either, because the built gearbox I bought from Marketplace turned out to be something completely different. And I think there's a lesson that every car enthusiast should see. Oh dude, this thing's a f***ing disaster.